I like how everyone assumed the post-game was done, even though I said we had more to do and logged into the game. Yes, in fact, we have 3 things left on our agenda for the post-game. The first of which, meaning we need to go back to our bookmarks and head off to Hidden Forbidden Sacrament, the great temple of Carleon Maeve. Why, we haven't been here since we got Haseo's lost weapon. But there are 6 more here. 5 of which we can get. Now you have to have the person in your party, and you have to have the correct number of keys. So let's head in and take out phase number 2.
Let's do it!
Right.
Here goes.
The thing even looks like Adeli's phase. Ow! Recommended level of 77, so yeah, that's I think we were a little over leveled for that.
Even break a sweat.
Just a little.
Are you me? But you're my... I did it! Adeli is powered up! I promise I'll continue to be useful to you. Now, let's get going, Haseo.
Now, granted, you would normally be doing these as the game progresses. Did she automatically equip that? Is this it? I think this is it. I'm pretty sure this is it. I wasn't paying attention. I don't see why I would get the item. Now normally, as I said, you would be fighting these as the game progressed. I put them all off until the end of the game so I could show everybody all of them at the same time. Which does have some detriments on it then, such as me being way the crap over-leveled.
Let's do it! Bring it on!
Now, all of these bosses do actually fight pretty much identically. So if you can beat one, just get to the recommended level and you can beat anyone. And bring a party, please.
Justice prevails! get it? So that's how you can power up. With this Magus factor, I can help everyone. Let's go, Haseo. Let's bring back a world where everyone can laugh again.
Alright, now I was paying attention this time. He got us the Silent Jade. Now, some of these weapons are actually some of the best weapons you can get for them. Now, let's see here. Skaith, Innis, Magus, Fidchel. We don't have that phase yet. So next up is Gore and Maha. We have 3 more to go. So let me go get the next 2 party members. Now, to get all of the lost weapons, you need 100 Adler keys on the nose. You can only carry 99 at once, though. $85. We're getting up there.
Let's do it!
He won't know what hit him!
Bring it on!
Now, a couple of things these things do, on top of using magic, they do heal themselves. The main reason you want to bring a party is so you can out-damage his healing of himself. Now, he can heal himself pretty darn quick. He's not weak to anything.
Tiger strike! How unlucky for you to have met me.
What is this? This warmth? It's not Master N. Is it you, Bo? Try to hang on to your socks when you get a load of the new powered up me! Here we go, Haseo!
Now, I'm pretty sure this book actually changes appearance based on who's using it, Saku or Bo. $83.
Let's do it! Got it, Haseo. Here goes.
I do like how they've actually changed the designs of each one of these things to reflect that individual phase. Nice touch. Now, because of the charm effect on this broadsword, that's really the only reason I could solo this thing before. It heals itself far too much otherwise.
Is it... you? Yes. Let's go. If you're with me, Haseo, let's go. I'll never lose my way again. She is with me.
Which leaves us with just one. So we need our party member for that. I remember having so much trouble with this last one the first time I played through. I don't know what level it is, but I'm pretty sure I'm way over-leveled for it. I was probably under-leveled at the time. '81. Yeah, this won't be so bad.
Let's do it!
Right.
Bring it on!
Get some Twin Blade up in here. Ow! Get some me getting shot in the face up in here.
I didn't even break a sweat.
This is... Tarvos's factor? I'm such a fool to think that it was here all along. No. It can't be. This is... No way. There's no way. My older brother... Haseo, let's go!
And Terrace! So, you've helped me yet again. Philo? Thanks, Philo.
A final message from Philo. That Haseo himself, he needs to worry about how happy he is. He's always put others before himself. Heck, that's why he went half demonic after Shino. But in an attempt to save her, what has he done to himself? Remember good old CrimsonVS? We're not done with it yet. CrimsonVS. It's taking its sweet time loading. There it goes. I got a lot of cards, which I already have! Because I have every card! Well, all but one. So I guess real quick, let me show off all the cards. Just real quick. That's not what I wanted to do. That's not what I wanted to do. So that's it for the unit cards. Now how about the generals? Now, as I mentioned before, I'm not too concerned with my first card being messed up here. We, as you can see there, are grade 1. And once you hit this point, you can battle against the champion. with an exhibition match. And who would the champion be of CrimsonVS? Why, it's a good friend of ours, actually. I'm gonna go in with this deck. This one has done me pretty well so far. It's gotten me all the way to rank 1. Let's see how it does against the champion. Now you can actually see this. See this battle live. Now we're just comparing the numbers in the upper left corner. Alright, so he's got 2. And the same general. And he's got 2 units, so I think he may be able to pull this one from me. Maybe. That card is looking nice, because he can't hurt me. And that is a nice card. What is that, Grim Reaper's Rondo? And there we go. Oh man, I've defeated the legendary champion, Gaspard. And for that, we get a card. Number 1, Haseo at Dawn. Haseo at Dawn. This is probably the best card. This is probably the best general that you can get in the game, but you can only get it after beating the champion. Of course, we had every other card, so we're not getting anything new. Aha! And I think we got a pretty good deck going into the next game now, actually. But now that we have all the lost weapons, and we are the champion in CrimsonVS, we need to head back into the world, because there is one last thing for us to do. Now, one thing I didn't mention about CrimsonVS is that there are actually 3 cards that you can get. Of all the cards, 3 of them you cannot get through booster packs or raising your rank and whatnot. There's actually only one way to get them, and that is by going to a field where the first word is competing. If you do this, the chest at the end of the field will actually have a CrimsonVS card in it. Now, there are 3 cards to get this way, and I think you have to go to an area of different levels to get the 3 cards to appear. Like, you'd have to go to a level 91, 92, and 93 area to get the 3 cards. It's really not that hard, though, and where you get the competing keyword, I forget exactly. I think it was mentioned either on the forum somewhere or in an email. But yeah, if you're missing 3 cards, there's your issue. Now, that aside, we have one final task before us, and that is the completion of the Abyss Quest. So head on over to the quest shop, where if you've completed every bit of the Abyss Quest up until now, you should now have Invasion of the Super Beings. You got an email post-game telling you about this if you're ready. And we're ready to go. The conclusion of the Cernunnos event, with the odd egg and those little magician people that are trying to summon up the dead. So head off to Clouding Invincible Huge Being. Now for this part of the quest, you should probably be in the low 90s. I'm actually a little over-leveled, so this is gonna go a little easy for us. But in the very first room you come across is a large dude. Nobody commands me to do nothing. I'm the freaking terror of death. I'm not gonna bend over and rot and die just because someone wants me to. I'm gonna stab you back. As I said, we are a little over-leveled for this, but,
Ancestors' misconduct?
I don't like the sound of that. Well, this area is, it actually does have a number of monsters in it, but, I don't think it really matters which way you go. It's gonna be about the same number of guys you have to fight either way. But I found at the very least going down there isn't much. Now, this is kind of a short dungeon since there aren't many enemies in it, but I suppose I'll take this time to kind of give my final thoughts on GU Volume 2. In the end of the day, as far as GU Volume 2 is concerned, I don't think I really have any complaints with the game that I don't have with this series as a whole. Which is just kind of that it lost that feeling that the original quadrilogy had, and it feels much more like a JRPG than a slightly more realistic adventure with real people. I mean, all the characters here are much more JRPG-ish. And I think if anything really bothers me about that, it's that I'm now kind of forced to accept that this is canonical to what happened after the previous game. I imagine if this game was just standalone, I'd probably have a much easier time enjoying it. But that said, I do enjoy the game. I mean, don't get me wrong there. I do like the game, or I wouldn't be Let's Playing it, for Pete's sake. I'm not putting over 100 hours into this massive thing if I didn't like it. And a couple things Volume 2 has done well, very well, at that. I think there's some items down here or something. But a couple things that GU Volume 2 has done very well, in fact, is the first volume kind of left you entirely reliant on Haseo's personal issues. Like, what does he like, what does he not like, and the story revolved around that, and to be honest, that's not very engaging. You're forcing to base your everything around a character that that wasn't explained. He wasn't given time to speak, or do anything, or learn from him. Because they kind of almost expected you to have watched Dot Hack Roots in that regard. And even then, it's still focused entirely on Haseo and his little personal problems. Now, Volume 2, they've actually stepped back some. They've given you a much larger issues, much larger problems. They've given the player something to get behind instead of just Haseo, which, it's an important thing. As motivated as Haseo is to do this, the player needs to be motivated as well. And they did that very well in this game, especially with introducing Alcade then, and subsequently taking her away. The player now is very connected to this. The player wants this resolved. I think the only real... I mean, the battle mode was also very much improved. Even the battles in the first game were a little on the more mundane side. There wasn't anything inherently bad with the fights, but they weren't really all that great. But just with the skill trigger and being able to change weapons on the fly, it's actually improved this game a great deal, I like to think. So, like, the battles and the mechanics behind this game, I have no complaints with at all. It is actually very fun to play with. Any complaints I have are much more story-based. And then something else that I mentioned before, a complaint, kind of story-wise, I guess, is that they gave us a character like Alcade, but we didn't really have anything else to fall back on that we really liked. So when we lost Alcade, suddenly we're filled with a bunch of characters that are a little odd. So they're seriously lacking a certain character type to adapt to a more broad range of people. I mean, some people will really like the characters in this game, and personally, I think they're alright. I mean, I don't dislike them, but it feels like there's too much of one kind of character. And I think we're nearing the end of this dungeon. I think the only other real complaint I have is Syllabus and Gaspard, because they played an important role in the previous game, but in this game, they almost might as well have not been here. It's like they were introduced for a purpose in the previous game, but as the story is developed, they no longer really have a purpose. And in the third game, I don't think that really changes. Also, concerning the third game, I'm looking forward to doing the third game for a couple of reasons. It seems like with GU, they always take an issue that was in the previous game and then fix it in the next game. And GU it's very personal. It's all about the characters and how they interact with each other. Whereas the original quadrilogy was about something bigger than all of them that they were just kind of bringing themselves up to. And right now, this GU is still kind of all about personal issues. I mean, it's about taking down Ovan and the like now. And Ovan, though a great character, it's not really like a great big final boss that everyone can get behind. Because when you want a final boss, you want something that it feels good when you beat it. You want something big and nasty that everybody can get behind. And with Ovan, you just don't really get that, because he's too human. That's something else that's kind of fixed in the third game, but that's something that I have a few other things to talk about, but we'll save that for next time. Until then, as I said, this is indeed a great game. It does have a few issues with it, but overall, it's a lot better than the previous game, and I actually very much do enjoy this game.